All right, I am back, and we are now looking at the table that was full in the very first part of the video. It's just mostly some stuff, some Jedi's, Fantastic Four, some of the Sabine, and that's it. That's all that's left. Why? That's because I've been kind of busy in the last day or so going after my vintage collection figures. So I'm gonna pan into that's the stuff I need to open up, or actually I'm leaving before the 30 days is out. See if I can get some lower price. That's my deluxe Mandalorian Imperial Trooper. That's 10 sets or 10 figures. So what's been going on with my Star Wars? That's still there because as you can see, that's all mostly Jedi's and stuff that I don't have any. I'm trying to. There's a way I'm gonna do it, but I will talk about that later. Not a lot has changed in this level, which is the second level. On the first level, there has been changes in terms of these guys. This used to be the Stormtrooper White, and now that's where I put in the pack of TIE pilots, the old TIE pilots from, I think, Power the Force. For now, I'm gonna have to put those in there, up in the forefront anyway. So that's part of the stuff that was in the bags underneath the table. So that's been fixed, and these are some holdover Dark Troopers that I had extra. I moved that from someplace else. This part, no changes on this part. So most of the changes occurred here. So this, a lot of things had fallen down. So that gave me the opportunity to move things around, fix it up. You probably don't remember what it looked like before, but now I have, initially the Stormtroopers were just haphazardly put in there because I just wanted to put it someplace. So now we have the Range Troopers over here, different arrangement with the Snow Troopers. I think those are the Tank Assault Trooper. I'm not sure. The evil Imperial Jump Troopers. I'm pretty sure this is still in the era of the 4, 5, 6 movies. I'm not sure. I'm not that versed with Star Wars history. I think I'm not even sure exactly where the evil Jump Imperial Troopers came from. I just like their design, but it kind of looks like that's part of the series. The Mud Troopers are back there. That's the remainder of the Dark Troopers. I have a lot of Dark Troopers. I bought a bunch of them. And the remainder of the TIE pilots are off to the side. And then I put in the Imperial Stormtroopers that was initially with that lineup with the Imperial Emperor shuttle, the Tidarium shuttle. I put it here because I realized in my last video I didn't have any Stormtroopers in this line, which is kind of weird because that's where Emperor Palpatine is hanging around. And then I rearranged my they call these Scout Troopers, and then the Imperial Communique Troopers. I can't remember. So that's the one that's been changed a lot. This one, one above it, I just basically had everybody put back on their bases because they had fallen over, so it's a little bit more cleaner. This is basically where my droids are, with the exception of those guys because I didn't have any more place with them, and I felt bad buying them and never displaying them. So that's all my droids and some extra Stormtroopers. Again, I don't have any space for these, so they're just randomly put in there. No changes on these troops at all, except that I did go ahead and kind of stood these guys up a little bit better using my new stands that I printed. This is the problem when you're dealing with 3.75 and they're impacted like this. Those guys in the back have fallen over and I need to fix them, and there's no way. Those are the, what is it, Night Troopers or Dark Troopers? I can't remember which one of those. I always get them confused. The robots, the droids. But the problem is I can't get to them because this is all really arranged and all that stuff. So this thing is a pain. I wish I had the Stan System, the Imperial Communique YouTuber, and I'm thinking of developing something similar where I can have like one big base. Actually, I did develop something, and it took me a while to figure it out, but it uses the Lego base system. Anyway, so I fixed this up as well, but here's the problem. I'm gonna have to. I need more, slightly more space. As you saw, there are some random Jedis just hanging about. My Jedis are actually down there, kind of like in a confronting, facing the Emperor over here, and that's the clone troopers that I have. That's kind of like the past facing the future and everything that I had set up. And unfortunately, it looks cool, or the idea is cool, but I can't see my Jedi. So I want to change. See, Yoda's down there. I want to change it up so I can put my Jedis in this section. So I need more room. There's actually a lot of room back there, as you can see. But I'll get more room if I remove the gunship. And I think so I already have a gunship back there. Plus, when the HasLab comes in, that's the one I want to use for this setup presentation. I have an idea where I'm going to put the gunship. The problem is it's going to take another major overhauling. So right now, what has turned up to be a putting away the stuff that I didn't that I bought in the last 6 months have ended up becoming a massive collection overhaul in terms of redoing the shelving and everything, and that's okay. Once in a year, it's possible anyway. So and it was been basically in my mind. So what I'm talking about are my vehicles, my Star Wars vehicles. So I'm kind of panning out so you can kind of see. These aren't even anywhere near the amount of vehicles that I have. Let me start panning up, right? So this is basically the top row of my collection where my HasLab sail barge was. The moment I realized I have room back there, I went ahead and bought it. And I got lucky that that the perfect timing was occurred. But this one, ATTE, a turbo tank, MTT, another ATTE, a third ATTE, a fourth ATTE, another turbo tank, an MTE, a U-wing, an incomplete turbo tank, another U-wing, a bunch of ATST, what do you call that? It's the AT-AT from Rogue One and everything. And you can see I have the drop ship. Now I'm panning up. As you can see, you can now see the Ghost that I have, the bomber, and you can see the rest of my Transformers collection. You have the Naboo Imperial Royal Starship, another drop ship, another Y-wing bomber from the Clone Wars. This is where I have my ARC 170s, my A-wings. Wait, is that the A-wing? Or that's the V-wing. Another Republic gunship. This is the A-wing, right? I can't remember anymore. And I'm gonna do this as I turn around because that's my X-wings, my Y-wing bomber, the Slave One, the E-wing, snow speeders, the Republic shuttle, my TIE Defenders. TIE Defender? Or is that the advanced TIE Fighter, the TIE Bombers, and the crap. I am now getting really tired. What is TIE Interceptor? And that's Not even all of my Star Wars ships. I have some more Star Wars ships. As you can see, you don't even see the B-wing. I have 5 B-wings outside. I have a bunch more ATRTs. Yeah. So what? This is the, as you can see, I'm redoing parts of the ceiling over here. I am actually, the biggest project that's gonna probably take me weeks to finish off this collection is I'm gonna overhaul the entire ceiling display. Let me pan down as I'm talking about this. My solo chugokin. So I've thought of a system where, because the problem with ceilings is you need to hook it up to the 2x4s where it is. Otherwise, the ceiling is not strong enough to support it. It probably is because these aren't really that heavy. But when you have these many ships on one ceiling, it might start pulling down your ceiling, or at least pulling down the hooks. So I've thought of a system to do for the ceiling using, yeah, well, you'll see. But I can't decide now if I'm going to leave the ceiling white or black. But if I do paint it black, I have to be careful because there's no way I'm going to remove all my collection just to paint the ceiling black. So I don't know how all in I'm going to do that ceiling. But once I do, I'll have a grid system in the ceiling that will allow me to properly align these ships, all of these ships. And even though this is massive, there's a lot of dead space here. There's a lot of dead space in between these ships. And they're not in uniform. I'll have to arrange it where they're lined up. That's the only way I can do it, to get some space in. And once I do, and there's even some dead space here. I just want to make sure that my area for the Batwing is clear. Once I do, that's why my ceiling is a mess right now. Because as you can see, it's even like this one, it's pulling on the ceiling. That's all going to disappear once I have the new ceiling grid system in place. Once I do, I'll have more room and I'll be able to put in the ships that I have outside. And that allows me to get some space in here too. So I'm going to pull this out, put it in the back for now, fix my Jedi, fix this whole ship system now, and maybe pull some of these. That would even open up more space for me. But honestly, I don't even see a lot of space that I need right now because I think I'm pretty much done with my collection. So I'm not in any hurry. But plus, I want one of each vehicles to be in my shelf so I can see it, the weights, front, side to side, and everything. Unlike when it's up on the ceiling. So anyway, this has been a little bit longer. So on the next segment, I'll have pulled this out. I'll have arranged my Jedi. I will rearrange the stuff down there and everything. So, and I'll see you on the next part or the next segment of this video. All right, so we are back. And yes, I've shown you this level before, so there's nothing new about that. However, the level before that, where there once was the gunship, I have now replaced the gunship with my ATRTs and oh shoot, oh my gosh, that one's almost falling down. I don't know what's going on that one. My ATRTs and I forgot the name. Anyway. Because I took out the gunship, now I'm able to put more figures in there. And it allows me to push back the clone troopers that I have. So I've rearranged them in the back. And I now have room for the Jedis that I have. And what I've done is I put all the Jedis in one level. So now I can see who I have and who I don't have. And yeah, they're a mixture of styles, but I can only get what I can get. So At least they're kind of represented. And then in this corner over here is basically Anakin Skywalker in all his representation. Young Anakin, Padawan, still a Padawan. Technically, he's over here. Jedi Knight Skywalker, and then the fallen initial Darth Vader, the later Darth Vader, and then his final form as when he goes back to being Anakin Skywalker. And then that gives me a chance. This is not yet final, but I think right now that's going to be where my Sith is, right in front of the Imperial troops and in front of the Emperor, even though some of them have no connection. Actually, one of them doesn't have any connection. This guy, this is Jorus Kabath. I can't remember his real name. I read the book a long time ago. And yes, I put in Kylo Ren because he is still connected to the Emperor. And that's a really old Kylo Ren, so I'm going to have to find a better one. And I have two Darth Vaders, as you can see. But I have a lot of Darth Vaders. I think we all do. So yeah. So that's it. So right now, I'm done with Star Wars Vintage. And I know I talked about putting, one of my major projects will be to do the ceiling for the ships. I'm going to have to hold that off because that is going to be a massive project. I would have to take down all the ships. I would have to, I'm deciding whether I'm going to paint the ceiling black or white. But then after that, I had to pull down one of these ceiling panels so I can find out where the 2x4s are, because my sensor is not reading it correctly. So I can find out where the studs are. That's where I'm going to anchor the grid system that I'm planning on. But so I'm done with Star Wars Vintage. Only a few remain that I need to put up. And as I pan for this, this is the small table that I had earlier. Just very few remaining TVC that I need to figure out where to place. And then as I pan some more, missing now is the table that was here. And the only thing remaining are these two small boxes, which is basic accessories, but I have ideas for where to put in. And now my next goal is to fix this part. And slightly this part. This is my Masters of the Universe collection, the Masterverse New Eternia mainline. In this pile is basically Mafex, a McFarlane that I'm gonna put out somewhere. Or I'm gonna put the Mafex McFarlane figures. Mezco I'm gonna put in the VC section. Remember, there's that one spot that was still empty. That's where I'm gonna put all that stuff in. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to move the Masters of the Universe cartoon collection, because I'm gonna move that to its final place. And then this is gonna be a messy part right here. I still have to figure out where I put my printer and my Darth Vader helmet. That's just an extra one, so I'm not sure if I should just sell that off or not. And then I'm gonna deal with the Marvel Legends here, and that's basically gonna incorporate me fixing all these Marvel Legends in the shelf, so that because they're kind of like all, it got impacted because I wasn't. It's been falling over and all that stuff. So anyway, that's gonna be my goal for the next day, maybe tomorrow. Then that'll be the final part of this video. All right, so this is a collection I'm going to be concentrating on distributing around the collection. I'm going to clean out that area. I'm going to prepare this area because the HasLab Ecto 1 is coming soon, and this is where it's going to be. And that's why I have the Ghostbusters over here. This is technically my 1/6 scale area. And also, this is the problem. This is actually designated for the Blitzway DeLorean that's supposed to be coming this end of this year, maybe first part of the year of next year. That's for the Blitzway DeLorean. So the problem is when that happens, where am I gonna put the 18 van, the 1/6 scale, the 1/12 scale Ecto 1, and I was thinking of putting the 1989 Batmobile in here as well. Because this side is where my Masters of the Universe Masterverse collection is, and this should have been just 1/6 scale. That's the problem. That's another problem I'm having right now. So let me go ahead and slowly start to put the Mafex and DC away, and then the McFarlane Supermans away, because I know exactly where those are going. And then I'm gonna move this spot so I can access that part for the Masterverse. And then the last thing I'm gonna take care of is this one, which is the cartoon collection. I have a spot for it, but it's really, really hard to get to at this moment. So I'll be right back. All right, so just a quick update. This is the part that was empty before, or slightly empty. I showed you where I put in the McFarlane Batman's, which is basically covering up the rest of my DC universe over there. But now I've added the remainder McFarlane Supermans over here, and on the other side, which did have enough room. I showed you where I put in the Diamond Select figures. I've now added in here the Mezco figures that I have, or some of them anyway. Some of them are in boxes. I just didn't have any room for it. These are the ones that were just hanging around my adding collection. I still have room back there, so I think I'll pretty much put all my Mezco behind there, because they're expensive products and they're just in boxes, and I hate that idea of that one. And then these are my Mafex ones. These are also expensive, but they're the complete what was that? When Superman died, Reign of the Superman. So where's the Eradicator? It looks like he fell down already. So I wanted to make sure I display them because they're like what, $100 each. I don't want to waste my money and have them in boxes somewhere where I don't see them. So I have enough room in there, so I'll put them some more over there, and I'll just pack this thing up. It's a shame I really can't see any of these figures. That's the Super 7 G.I. Joe. Like, really can't even see anything back there. Some NECAs and everything. But better back here in my collection room than in the box somewhere in my storage shed. So anyway, yeah. So let's go back, and now let's deal with the Masters of the Universe collection. All right, so before I mess around with the Masters of the Universe Masterverse version, I wanted to show what the this level looks like. As you can see, it's pretty much packed. I've kind of mixed in Mumra and Slythe, and then that's Super 7, and then the rest of the Super 7 is right there in the back, because it's not really my one of my favorite. It's not one of my favorite lines. It used to be, but then I got kind of disillusioned with Super 7's kind of messed up business practices. So anyway, I finished it, and I'm washing my hands off of Super 7 completely. I don't think I'll ever purchase from that business again. And anyway, so I think I've thought of a way of what I need to do, and that's basically because I have Thundercats on one side mixed in with my Masters of the Universe, and then there's parts of Thundercats over there. Then I have to deal with Silverhawks and everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move most of the Thundercats. I'm gonna leave the ones that are like the Bengal or whatever the name of that ice guy is. And I'm gonna get the core Thundercats and I'm gonna move it to this empty spot and the Silverhawks. And then any duplicates like this, for example, Roboto, I got duplicate of him. I really like the new one, so I'm gonna put that back one in the backpack one. Same thing with what's the name of this guy? I forgot. And Extra Fisto, I'm gonna move him out. I like the original one, the look of that one better. It's closer to the cartoon version. And that should give me enough space to put in Mosquito and Montana and the new Hordak and the new Skeletor over there. Anyway, that's the plan, and I'll be right back. All right, so I am done with the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line. What did I do? I took out the Mumra and Thundercats that I had over here. It's kind of a shame that I have these those what do you call those the robots from She-Ra's thing in the back. I bought like a bunch of them, but there's just no way for me to display it, so they're like right there in the back. Anyway, I've kind of rearranged because I took out Mumra and the Mumra's minions. It gave me some space, so I was able to put Mosquito and Antenna and Hordak over there. Rearrange a couple of things. Cobra Khan, Anti-Eternia He-Man. And then I also took out the Thundercats that was in the back over there. And that freed up some room. So I was able to go ahead and put the rest of the new Eternia line and Masterverse line over here. So I still have some room over here in the front, like for a few more figures, and I think that's pretty much it for my Masterverse. So that's gonna winding down, and as a result, here is now the new area that I designated. This was supposed to be in with the Masterverse, but there's just no way I can put all this stuff in there and mix it up. So I just separated the franchises. That's the Thundercats, Mumra, some of the minions over here, the henchmen, and Monstar, his weak version, and the Silverhawks, which basically leaves me with a bunch of empty space that I can still put the Ecto 1 for now once it arrives. As you can see, it's all kind of like a mess over here. And going down on the floor, this is still the mess that I have to clean up. But these are extras, which I'm going to put in a box somewhere. I'm going to hide the accessories, and then all this crap over here in the floor, and then the cartoon collection that I have to deal with. But before I deal with that, never mind the crap that it's going on over here. That's actually going to clean up pretty easily. Then I have to deal with the Marvel Legends. So what I'm going to do right now, this is easy to do, is basically clean up all this mess on my floor. And hold on a second. So there's the floor, and that's the cartoon collection that I have to deal with. I've minimized it a little bit by removing the doubles, or actually, you know what, I put the doubles up there and some of the henchmen, but technically, let me move it out of the way again. So you can kind of see. So those figures from here to here are the ones that I have to deal with. There's probably about 4, 8, 12, about 12 to 15 figures in there. I'm gonna pan slowly to kind of show you where it's placed. So that's my G.I. Joe Marvel stuff going on up into the ceiling over here. I'm gonna pan close. That's my Masters of the Universe cartoon collection going on. Now the problem is, you can see there's still a bunch of spaces that I can deal with. I've already put in Lionel and Chitara over there, the crossover. There's still some spaces that I can put in terms of like on top of Grayskull, around Snake Mountain, off to the side of Eternia. The problem, and it should be an easy fix. The problem is I'm gonna pan down, and you can see my 3D printer, my monitor, a bunch of robots, the big 4-foot robot that's basically a foot away from me. When I designed the space, and that's the front of my keyboard computer, which is a complete mess right now because I am arranging stuff. I basically have to move crap from one spot to another and move that crap to another spot again, which basically makes that space a mess. So when I designed the space, I designed it so that I can remove this part, and that gives me space up here, as you can see, that accesses this part. That's the only way for me to access it, because on this side is basically a whole bunch of robots, and as you can see, that's where G.I. Joe is. So if I were to stand here, the only thing I can access is maybe Grayskull, and behind Grayskull, I'll never be able to access any of this. And I need to access the center of Eternia because that's the most where I'm going to put most of it. Anyway, so now I kind of fixed this area a while back because of my printer underneath, and put in a plexiglass button. You can't see it right now, but whenever I want to see my printer, I can see right through this plexiglass. So the thing is, I completely forgot the function of this being a removable part and screwed it in. I can still do it, it just takes longer. Anyway, that's gonna be for another day. I'm gonna go ahead and clean off this section, clean off the accessory, put these things away, the doubles, clean off that part, because that's just a bunch of stuff that I can put in the box somewhere. And then I'll try to deal with the Marvel Legends. That's the plan. Tomorrow, because I'm already tired.